definitions of stuff. Polynomial, first of all, this polynomial means many terms. And you remember we talked about terms were, terms are things that are separated by addition and subtraction signs. By addition slash subtraction. For example, let me give you one here. It could just be 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. This little polynomial here has how many terms? 3 different terms. They're separated by addition and subtraction signs. Okay, you've got 1, 2, 3. Now, a single term thing is called a monomial. I'm sure that's not as in mono meaning one. Okay, for example, a monomial would just be like 3x. That's a monomial, just one term. Okay, a two-term expression, guess what that is?
Binomial.
It's a binomial. It has 2 terms. And an example of that could just be 3x plus 6. That's a binomial. Forging ahead into more new and uncharted mucky waters there. A 3-term
Trinomial.
expression is a trinomial. And that's pretty much where we go with the specialized names. An example of that was that one I gave you there, 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. That's 3 terms trinomial. After that, when you start getting bigger than that, I don't know if they actually say it. Let me look and see. Yeah, well, it's 4-term. You don't really call whatever there. Whatever, yeah. Okay, now polynomials have what we call degrees. We've got a couple different things to talk about. The first thing we're going to talk about is the degree of a term. Let's say you've got 3x squared y. The degree of a term is found by adding all of its exponents together. Okay. Found by adding the exponents of the variables together. So, children, that simply means this. The degree of this one term right here is 3. Why? Because you have an exponent of 2 and an exponent of 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. The degree of this term is 3. It's a 3rd degree term. What if I had x to the 5th, y to the 5th? No, you don't put the degree sign after it. Y to the 5th m. The degree of that term would be, Katie Nolan, 11. Remember, there's always an assumed 1 if there's not one there. It's 11th degree term. Okay? So that's the degree of a term. Then we have the degree of a polynomial.
3rd degree bird.
Yes. The degree of a polynomial, let's say you have this polynomial that is 4x y to the 5th minus 3xy plus 6x squared y squared. The degree of a polynomial is equal to its highest degree term. Okay, it's equal to its highest degree term. This is Nolan.
Rutledge?
Yeah, it's underneath my stuff in the front corner over there, on the other side. Keep walking, underneath.
Are you
Christmas.
92?
Not yet. They will be. I just actually have to walk down and get them.
I got another one.
I
So
made
I need
6.
one more. Oh, you did? You're a smart man.
I made 6. One just born yesterday, mostly because I have to make 2 at a time when I copy the jackets there.
You what? It's not Rutledge.
Today,
or
was
you
that due
can't
today?
go?
Because I only got
No,
one.
it's due on Wednesday.
We'll just-
7. Why 7? Alright, in other words, boys and girls, here's what you do. To figure out the degree of this whole polynomial, you look at the degree of each term. For example, the degree of this term is 5 plus 1, 6. The degree of this term is a 2, 1 plus 1. The degree of this term is a 4. You pick the one that has the highest degree, and that's the degree of the polynomial. This is a 6th degree polynomial.
Wait, where does 6 come
5 for the y and a 1 for the x is a 6. 6th degree polynomial. Okay. And again, more definition here. They'll ask you some questions on this. The leading coefficient. Leading coefficient. Anytime you hear the word coefficient in mathematics, it means the number in front of the term. And the leading coefficient is the number in front of the highest degree term. This sounds really complicated, but it's not.
You do all these adult things.
For example, if I have 8xy plus 7x squared y squared plus 4x. Again, the first thing you need to do is look at the degree of each term. This is a degree of 2. This is a degree of 4. This is a degree of 1. You're looking for the number in front of the highest degree term. This is the highest degree. So the leading coefficient is 7 in this case. As a matter of fact, if you're supposed to, when you do this, when you do talk about polynomials, you're supposed to write them in standard form. And all that means is you need to write them in descending order of the degrees of their terms. How about that for a long unit? Descending. Is that D-E-S-C? How do you spell descending? Help me out, spellers.
G-E-X.
Yeah.
Alex? Is it D-E-C, descending? D-E-S. D-E-S-C?
Is it D-E-S-C?
Just go D something. Just leave it like that. Okay.
How about this? Standard form means you write the terms from highest degree to lowest. Does that make sense?
It's hard to decide.
Okay. Which would mean, in the case of this one, when I write that out on my paper, you need to put this in standard form. This one would go first because it's the highest degree term, then that one, then that one. Let's look at some examples here, shall we? Let's say I've got 9x squared y minus 8xy squared. Wait, sorry, can you change that? I am going to change it. 9x squared y minus 3x squared y squared minus 5x. Okay, step number 1, let's write it in standard form. How would you write that in standard form? Again, you gotta look at the degree of each term, write it from greatest to smallest. Kylie, the first term should be this has a degree of 4 because of the 2 squares. 2 plus 2 is 4. This has a degree of 3 and that has a degree of 1. So the biggest one first, then the 9x squared y, and then the minus 5x. Now if I asked you what is the degree of this polynomial, what is the poly's degree, you would tell me, Katie Nolan, it is? It is not 3. The degree of the polynomial is equal to the degree of its greatest degree term. How many degrees are in the greatest degree term? This one. Okay, this is a 4th degree polynomial. The question Katie answered was the question that asked, what is the leading coefficient? And what is the leading coefficient? That is -3, the number in front of the highest degree term. Nothing difficult about this, just that it takes a little bit of whatever writing stuff there. Good with that? Because I'm going to slide one more thing here. Adding and subtracting polynomials. Which is also really known as combining like terms. Let me give you right off the bat 2 examples. Example number 1 and example number 2. Or A and B, if you will.
Is this one the same thing?
Yep, it's under polynomials, so you might just put it there. Okay, x squared plus 3x minus 3 plus 2x minus x plus 2. And then example 2 is 6x squared plus 4x plus 2 minus 2x minus x. 2x squared minus x plus 8. 2x squared minus x plus 8. I wish I would have done that. You think I can fix it? Sure, why not? I'm going to do this. We're going to slide this over. Slide this over. Okay, listen very carefully to me, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, I guess I changed it. When you add polynomials, when you have an addition sign in front of a parentheses, okay, that doesn't change anything. It's like distributive property. If I multiply all of these by a positive 1, how do they change? They don't, they stay the same. So when it's an addition sign in front of a parenthesis, by the way, there's an addition sign there, you just can't see it. It doesn't matter. In this case right here, for this, okay, these parentheses mean absolutely nothing. Okay, you can just get rid of them because it's addition. In other words, this is the same as x squared plus 3x minus 3 plus 2x minus x plus 2. Don't need those parentheses, don't know really why they put them in there, but they do just because. And then I just add like terms. I think this was probably supposed to be an x squared. Was it? Look in the book. Oh no, it wasn't. Sorry. I'll just take that back. So if I am simplifying this, what do? Are there any other x squared terms? there are not, so it stays x squared. But I can combine the 3x, the 2x, and the minus x to give me a what? If I have 3 x's, I add 2 more x's to it, and then I take 1 x away, Lizzie, I have a 4x. And then I can put my numbers together, a minus 3 and a plus 2 is a minus 1. That is that whole thing. So going back to that, addition signs in front of parentheses don't change anything. Now, here is the other situation here. When you have a subtraction sign, that does change stuff. It changes everything inside the parentheses to its opposite, because it's like multiplying everything by a -1. This one doesn't change because there's no negative in front of it. It's like having a plus sign. So you keep the 6x squared plus 4x plus the 2, but everything inside the second parenthesis, when you multiply through by the -1, changes to its opposite. So this now becomes a minus 2x squared, a plus x, and a minus 8. Stop me there if you don't quite catch that. Negative signs are going to change everything to its opposite. Addition signs do really nothing. So now, 6x squared and a minus 2x squared gives me what, Alexandria? I have 6x squareds and I take 2 of them away, I have 4x squareds left. I have a 4x and another x that gives me what, Jake Vickery? 5 x's. And then I have a 2 and a minus 8, which gives me what, Mary Schubert? 2 and a minus 8? -6, correct. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is adding, subtracting polynomials. To which you say, let's do uno más. Let me give you one to do here. One more example, and then you shall be free and free indeed. 12y cubed plus 10 in parentheses minus 18y cubed minus 3y squared plus 5. Tell me what you get for that, please. Done? Jawohl. So when you do this, you can just get rid of the first parenthesis because there's no subtraction sign in front of it. It just becomes 12y cubed plus 10. And then you multiply through the second one by a -1, which gives you a -18y cubed plus 3y squared minus 5. Correct? Yes. So what do you get when you put those together? Steph?
-6y cubed plus 3y squared plus 5.
What's that?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. Okay, what is this? This is a trinomial. What is the degree of this trinomial? Are we sure?
Yeah. 3.
3, because the degree is the highest term. What is the leading coefficient of that trinomial? -6. You have to take the sign in front of it. Kylie?
It's okay if you had like plus 5 plus 3 squared.
Wait, is it okay if you have what?
Plus 5 plus 3 squared.
No.
Like then 6.
Again, remember, you have to start writing these in standard form, and standard form has to be in descending order of their degrees. So since this was a 3, this is a 2, that is a 0. You have to put it, I mean, technically it's not wrong, but you really need to get in the habit of doing that, because later on it's just going to make your life much, much, much easier.